Good day everyone. I am Mr. Daniel C. Rimutigi, a MAED Educational Management student and one of the reporter for this subject, ED 230. My assigned topic was all about monitoring and evaluation plan. But before I will proceed, allow me to give some inputs about this topic aligned with the Department of Education M&A system of implementation. As all we know, the Department of Education issues the enclosed policy on the adoption of the Basic Education Monitoring and Evaluation Framework or BEMEF to guide DepEd operating units across governance levels in the conduct of monitoring and evaluation. At this point of time, let us now define what is M&E or monitoring and evaluation and differentiate according to its definitions. Monitoring and evaluation or M&E are processes that both refers to the measurement of the performance of an organization, a program, a project, or an individual. Monitoring itself is a systematic and objective assessment of an ongoing implementation of plans, programs, projects, and major activities. On the other hand, evaluation provides valuable lessons and insights that can be used by managers in crafting strategic decisions for the future, such as in designing organizational changes or future programs and or projects. Based on their definitions, it is clearly stated that these two processes are both referred to the assessment of the performance of an organization or company with regards to the implementation of their programs and projects respectively. In addition, monitoring and evaluation have its own purposes. For instance, the purpose of monitoring is to assess whether the program is being implemented as planned, identify any challenges or deviations, and provide real-time feedback for timely decision-making and corrective action. While the purpose of having an evaluation is to determine the overall effectiveness, efficiency, relevance, and sustainability of the program. It also focuses on understanding the program's impacts, identifying lessons learned, and informing future program planning and decision making. And to achieve the overall effectiveness, efficiency, relevance, and sustainability of the program, and to accurately evaluate the program or activity of an organization, there must be a guiding theory and blueprint of evaluation being followed. This is called the theory of change. The theory of change is a conceptual framework that outlines how a program or intervention is expected to bring about desired outcomes or impacts. It maps out the logical pathway of change, connecting activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts of a program. Why is the theory of change important in evaluation? Simply because it helps frame the long-term goal of a project and the broad strategic initiatives of intervention. It maps the building blocks or preconditions that need to be in place for the long-term change to occur. It identifies also the assumption that need to hold true for the project to succeed. At this juncture, let us apply the theory of change to the incoming activity of the Department of Education, particularly on the National Learning Camp or NLC for grade 7 and grade 8 learners. As you have seen on the screen, the goal of this NLC is to improve the learners' performance, especially those learners who did not pass during the online pre-test and those learners who have a final grades of below 80 in the learning areas, particularly in English, mathematics, and science. However, the DepEd announces that this National Learning Camp is involuntary in nature. Again, as you have seen in the screen, the NLC or the National Learning Camp has its goal to improve the learner's performance, and the intermediate outcome for this activity is to improve learners' motivations, interest, and engagement, as well as their socio-emotional skills. On the side of teachers, teachers will also improve their pedagogical skills on intervention, consolidation, and enhancement. And also, teachers will improve their collaborative expertise. The immediate outcome for this NLC is that the learners are expected to complete the 3 or 5 weeks learning camp, and they were also participated within 3 to 5 weeks of this learning camp, and teachers participated in the LAC sessions for a collaborative expertise sharing of their ideas. And the expected outputs for this National Learning Camp is that the DepEd will provide printed and non-printed learning materials to the learners. The school also will develop learning camp design or plan according to the guidelines. Teachers conducted intervention, consolidation, and enhancement camps using the targeted instruction, conducted professional development or LAC sessions on collaborative expertise, and the school also expected to provide with teaching assistance. Through developing a theory of change, you can identify and analyze a range of interrelated elements to help ensure you are on the right path. You can also challenge key assumptions and mitigate rest. Therefore, M&E plan is very necessary. What is M&E plan? Based on the definition, a monitoring and evaluation or an M&E plan is a document that outlines the systematic processes, methodologies, and activities to be undertaken to monitor and evaluate a program or intervention. What are the factors to be considered in making our M&E plan? These factors are the inputs, activities, outputs, and outcome or impact. During the implementation of monitoring, you have to be considered the inputs and activities. When we say inputs, it refers to the resources or the materials to be needed, the money or the budget, the staff or the human force, and the steps to be undertaken during the implementation of projects or activities. On the other hand, result-based monitoring can be done by considering the output, outcome, or impact, meaning to say, you are to focus on the results change in the real world. To make it specific, let us have the sample of making M&E plan by considering the M&E plan provided by the DepEd for the National Learning Camp. As you have seen in the table, there is a column intended for the goal as well as the objective statement, indicators, data source or data collection method, responsible office in data collection, and the last one is the scheduled frequency of data collection. Let us now discuss and explain on how to make this M&E plan for by considering this M&E for the National Learning Camp. Under the row for goal, it has been said that the NLC or National Learning Camp has its goal to improve learners' performance. So what are the bases of improving the learner's performance? So it has an expected intermediate outcome based on the learner's motivation as well as their interest and engagement, socio-emotional skills. Then The indicators under this objective is that the percentage of learners reported their improvement on learning motivation, interest, engagement, and socio-emotional skills through survey, observation, and portfolio. The data to be collected under this objective are the learning survey on motivation, engagement, interest, and socio-emotional, the FGD or the focus group discussion or interview, and their anecdotal review. Who are the responsible in collecting the data? Of course, the school personnel headed by the school head in the school level, the chief of CID or the Curriculum Implementation Division for the division level, and the CLMD and OUCT for the national office. On the side of teachers, teachers also will improve their pedagogical skills on revision, intervention, and enrichment. The indicators under this objective is the percentage of teachers reported their improvement on pedagogical skills on RIE. Then, the data source under this objective is the teachers' self-assessment tools, the FGD, the document analysis that consists of the lesson plan and the activity sheets. In this NLC, the teachers also will improve their collaborative expertise. Then the indicators under this statement is the percentage of teachers reported their improvement in collaboration for teaching. The data source are again the teacher's self-assessment tool, the FGD, the document analysis. Another row for M&E plan for the NLC is the immediate outcome. So it has an objective that the learners should complete the 3 or 5 weeks learning camp. Then the indicators to monitor whether the student completed the 3 or 5 weeks is the attendance sheet or the teacher's monitoring sheet with regards to the remediation, intervention, and enrichment. What are the expected outputs under M&E plan for the NLC? The outputs are the following. Again, the DepEd will provide a printed and non-printed learning materials. Schools develop learning camp design or plan according to the guidelines. Conducted professional development sessions on collaborative expertise for teachers. And teachers also will conduct a remediation, intervention, and enrichment camps using the targeted instructions, and the school provided with teaching assistants. What are the indicators under this objective statement? This objective statement are the following. For the printed and non-printed materials, of course, it will consider the availability of those materials during the learning camp provided by the Department of Education. And for the design of the learning camp, indicators for this is the presence of the learning camp design according to the guidelines, proportion of schools conducted LAC sessions on collaborative expertise, and the percentage of teachers conducted remediations, interventions, and enrichment camps that refers of how many teachers volunteered to participate in the learning camps, percentage of the schools provided with teaching assistance. Again, under the column of the data to be collected, that is based on the attendance sheet or the teacher's monitoring sheet, the inventory checklist of learning materials, the school learning camp plan, the NLC monitoring tool or checklist, the LAC attendance sheet, the NLC monitoring tool and checklist, list of teachers endorsed by the school heads, and monitoring and TE report, who are responsible for collecting those data. Of course, the school personnel and administrative staff, the CID chief, and the CLMD OUCT for the national level. So all of those data will be collected before, during, and after the implementation of the National Learning Camp of the Department of Education. I hope that this sample of M&E plan for the National Learning Camp will give us an idea in making our own M&E plan for our future programs, projects, and activities in our respective field and area of responsibility. And allow me to end my presentation by leaving this quote borrowed from George Payton that goes, "A good plan implemented today is better than a perfect plan implemented tomorrow." Once again, thank you for listening on my video lesson about monitoring and evaluation of plan. I hope you learn something about my lesson. God bless us all and mabuhay. This is Teacher Daniel Rimutigi signing off.